Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
Hey, Jay Fallon, thanks for listening to the Slippery Slope. So, I saw this story come up. Big shout out to my brother for sending it to me, actually. But just shaking my head when I'm reading the story, and it's not because it's the narrative here is the racism within the story, but I think reading it, I wonder how in this day and age we still have people who are in this position of authority, and yet they seem to lack any kind of empathy with someone who's in a bad situation, who's in a hard situation. Now, I get sometimes you're tired, you're frustrated, and things are going wrong. But surely, in this day and age, you realize, hey, I'm getting recorded. Things will get recorded. Everything ends up finding its way back to someone else. Maybe, you know, you can think it, but not say it. Remember the old, if you haven't got anything nice to say, well, then don't say it at all. But people just seem to say everything and anything, and then wonder why it comes back and it's being talked about in the media. I don't think this story. I think it maybe focuses a bit too much on the fact that it's an Indigenous person, young person that it happened to. I think this just shouldn't happen to anyone in general, regardless of their ethnicity. So, the Indigenous Children's Commissioner has slammed ACT policing over a distressing watch house incident. If you can see this, if you're watching this on the video, I'm assuming this picture here is three officers standing there in the footage that they're talking about. So, a shocking incident involving a guard and a young Indigenous detainee in a Canberra watch house has led the nation's top representative for Indigenous youth to demand greater oversight of the ACT's policing. Greater oversight. I don't think you can have greater oversight. You just need decent oversight, better oversight. Their answer to everything is always spend more money and put more people in. You just have to put good people in and stop recruiting, people who shouldn't be in the jobs. Recruit the right people, for crying out loud, and stop worrying about diversity and equity and that kind of thing. So, in CCTV footage played during a recent ACT Supreme Court hearing, a watch house officer can be heard asking 17-year-old whether he was thinking of necking himself during his intake interview. So, the teenager denied having any such thoughts. The sergeant replied, wouldn't have the guts to do it anyway. I read that and I thought, you know what, it's just this person, you must lack any empathy if that's what you're thinking. I don't understand if that's the way you think. I get it. You've got someone there in the watch house. They mightn't be the nicest person, whatever, but they've gotten themselves in a terrible situation. Saying something wouldn't have the guts to do it anyway. That's just, I don't know how you can goad someone like that anyway. So the Commissioner for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Children and Young People, Vanessa Turnbull Roberts, said the incident amounted to abhorrent misconduct in the context of the horrifying and ongoing epidemic of Aboriginal deaths in custody in this jurisdiction and across Australia. This comment can be seen as a deliberate incitement to an Aboriginal child to end his life, she said in a statement. What is even more horrific is the young person is a survivor of forcible removal. The police interrogation used against this young person by police is shameful. The CCTV footage shows other officers smirking at their colleagues' goading comments, which included jibes at the teenager's history of being placed in care. So when asked in the same interview whether he had parents, the teen replied, nah. No parents, the sergeant replied. You just magically appeared on the face of the earth. Just, in you can see it. The teenager's just sitting there going, thinking, well, no, I don't have any parents here with me, or no one standing in the corner, no one, who's being an advocate for me, no one is fighting for me. So no, I don't have parents. But, that's not the way the sergeant, obviously thinking, just trying to be sarcastic or a bit of a nasty person. So a children's court had earlier heard distressing details of the youth's traumatic experience in foster homes where stuff happened, which shouldn't happen to a kid. More footage shows officers later pinning the teenager down in his cell and leaving him handcuffed there for 45 minutes. Ms. Turnbull Roberts condemned the officers' actions. The state inflicted trauma would have been compounded by the subsequent unnecessary use of force, and then leaving this young person alone, handcuffed and distressed in his cell, where he would have known that there was not a single person in that police station who cared about whether he lived or died, she said. The presiding judge in the ACT Supreme Court hearing, Justice Louise Taylor, referred the footage to the Territory's chief police officer. Ms. Turnbull Roberts also independently brought the incident to the attention of the Ombudsman in December last year. It was apparently then referred to the Australian Federal Police, and it seems that nothing has yet been done. This inaction shows how designed and broken the system is and how it is failing the ACT Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander community. So, yeah, the system is broken. And it's also broken because we've had governments, consecutive governments for, I would say, decades, who have not supported, and in some cases have been very anti-family. They do not support a traditional family. So we don't have fathers anymore who feel like they need to or want to. They might want to father a family, as in they might want to just spread their seed around, but they don't feel the need to actually raise children, to look after children, to be a father, to be a husband. And we also have women, mothers, who don't see that they need to actually, don't see the need to actually raise children either, to actually be mothers, to be role models, to show how women should act, how women should behave. We see so many women who go out and have children and then think, well, I've had a kid. Yep, that's all right. And now I can go back out and continue partying again, continue going to the nightclubs, continue hooking up and meeting all these other men and bringing other strange men home. So we've had governments who consistently have gone against the family unit, and then we've seen the decay of the family unit, the destruction of the family unit, especially the family unit that would meet biblical standards, I would say. So we've got this system that doesn't support family units, and then the problem is if you don't have people who are in your corner who are acting as advocates, fighting for you and on your behalf, well, then you're stuck in the system. You're just the people who are supposedly on your sides are just government paid community workers, social workers, who aren't really there for you, who won't always give you the best advice. The Australian government for a long time has encouraged the destruction of the family unit. It's discouraged parents to have any kind of discipline upon their children. It's encouraged the idea within children that they don't need to listen to parents. They don't need to listen to authority figures. So many parents now are unable to discipline their children or unwilling to discipline their children because of the trouble that they will get into. And then it really all goes towards pushing children, young people, into the justice system. And then we have the justice system that it favors the wealthy, it favors the educated, it favors the family structure, because if you've got people there to support you, to have your back, you're far more likely to not spend a night in watch house than if you do have someone, than if you don't have someone who will actually come in and be an advocate for you. So yeah, the system is broken, but they can't overlook the fact that part of why the system is broken is because the government has broken it. And part of why we have officers who think that it's okay or who lack the empathy that you need to have if you're going to work in this kind of situation is because, again, the government broke their own recruiting system. The government lowered their standards. This is the kind of person that the government employs now. And then they turn around and say, well, this is unacceptable. This can't happen. but they've encouraged it for decades and decades. This is a nation that needs God, in my opinion. I'm Jay Fallon. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope.
They just fuel a desire that will take me higher. I'm on fire because nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna stop me now. No more deals to be done. No more selling, no more soul, just to focus on the goal. Nothing's gonna stop me now. Nothing's gonna hold me down. Got my eye on the prize, gonna